The Texas State Historical Association is excited to announce that the Handbook of Texas has surpassed 27,000 entries. And we have the author of the 27,000th entry here with us today, Miss Leah LaGrone Ochoa. Leah, tell us, why did you become a historian?
I became a historian because I listened to the stories of my grandmothers, both grandmothers. They grew up poor, rural, working class, and I was curious. I was curious to what their lives were like, what the context of their life was like. One grandmother told me a story about wanting to play basketball in the 1930s, and her father wouldn't let her. So I was curious as to why, what the conditions were, what women faced, working class women faced. And so I really wanted to be one of those people that could tell the stories of working class women like my grandmothers.
Tell us, where are you going to school and who are the professors there that you are working with?
I am a graduate student, PhD candidate at TCU in Fort Worth. My major professor is Rebecca Sharpless. I also work with Greg Cantrell, Max Krochmal, Kara Buick, and Alex Hidalgo.
And what is your area of expertise? What are you studying for your dissertation?
I focus on women's history, working class women's history specifically. My dissertation will be on the connections of prostitution and living wage legislation in Texas in the early 20th century.
So how did you end up picking this topic for the Handbook of Texas Women project?
Well, Eva Goldsmith continued to appear in the primary sources that I was using or that I use for my dissertation. And so the more she appeared either with suffrage or with working with the minimum wage legislation, specifically with the Texas State Federation of Labor in 1914 all the way through 1919, I became interested in her life and what she did and what circles she was in and how she was able to help get this legislation passed.
So I know that you've been familiar with the Texas State Historical Association for a while. Can you tell us how you've been involved?
Well, TSHA gave me a platform to present the history that I was doing, my history, to an audience. My first conference was the TSHA. One of the first conferences I was able to present was at TSHA, and now I have a handbook entry, and I'll have more handbook entries. So they really give graduate students and and other historians a platform to use to present their work.
So, do you plan to write any more entries for the Handbook of Texas?
I do. I'm working with the Women and Gender Studies at TCU, and we have a list that we're going to write and contribute.
Well, Leah, thank you for your time today. We're excited that you could be here to talk about the Eva Goldsmith entry, and we hope that you'll keep us informed about your future projects.